y'all, it's my review for The Real Housewives of Miami, Season 6, Reunion Parts 1 and 2, the uncensored version. Now, Bravo, they really trying to F with me right now. They give us 2 of the 3 parts of the reunion back to back from Miami. They just keep doing this franchise wrong, and they don't deserve this. They're a really good franchise. The cast is good. Here's hoping for Season 7 that they're treated right and they're back on Peacock where they belong. So we open at part 1, and I gotta say, this is a long ass intro. Like, we finally get to everyone seated and Andy welcoming everybody at the 5-minute mark. Like, we already get a preview of the season, and then we get the behind the scenes stuff, the ladies coming out. But yeah, we're finally here. Let's talk about the set right quick. Beautiful. I definitely see Mexico City. And then the ladies' looks. Chef's kiss. I love a theme. Everyone looks like they're going to the same place. I love it. Me and Alex actually did a looks review for the Housewives of Miami. You could go check it out on his channel. But I think they all collectively look great. So we start with Larsa, and Andy's asking about her promise ring, and is there an engagement ring in the future with Tyler Perry. Sitting backstage, by the way, and the camera is just on him for his commentary. We don't care about his commentary. I really don't like Larsa, y'all. If there's any Larsa fans in the chat, you might want to leave. So then Andy makes a joke about Larsa when she said on the show that her and Scottie Pippen used to have sex 4 or 5 times a night. Like, every night for a week. And of course the ladies didn't believe that. She said she's not going to talk about her sexual activities because it makes her family uncomfortable. And then Alexia chimes in and says, well, it is kind of weird. Larsa says, well, I didn't ask you. And then they're going back and forth now. And you know Gertie hates Larsa's ass, so she jumps in and says, well, nobody believed it anyway. Larsa's rebuttal to them is calling them both dry, like her personality. That was such a weak read. Why is Andy asking the other ladies, do they believe Larsa having sex 5 times a night? I don't care. Why are we talking about this? Lisa, of course, is sticking up for Larsa, and then we can hear Gertie calling her a mascot. So then Larsa has the nerve to say she was upset at Kiki for making comments about, I guess when she held that party for Marcus when he was only gone for 5 days. I mean, it is strange as hell to do that. She also accused her of talking about her the entire season and she's not being a good friend. Larsa, of all people, trying to accuse somebody of not being a good friend. Girl, like, didn't you tell your friend's cancer diagnosis to people when she asked you not to? Is that what friends do? Kiki then calls out Larsa for her confessionals because remember earlier in the season, Kiki kind of felt shut out because it would always be Lisa and Larsa with their men and then just Kiki. And Kiki was just like, can we just do girl things? And then Larsa said in her confessional that Kiki needs a boyfriend if she wants to hang out. Oh God, that was lame. Who coached Larsa for this reunion? She just said, they call you Kiki because you Kiki in my face and then you talk behind my back. Sis, that didn't land like you thought it did. They're going back and forth and then they bring up Tyler Perry again backstage saying, don't hate on our love, don't hate on our love. Gertie interrupts again, and she's definitely making use of that first chair. But she tells Larsa that she holds things over people's heads, like she threatens her friendship, and of course Larsa disagrees with her. Larsa and Kiki's still going at it. Kiki does apologize, though, for her initial comment that offended Larsa, and Andy then has to jump in and break it down to Larsa that she's apologizing to you. She says she appreciates your friendship. Is it even a real friendship? But it looks like they're going to get over this and they're going to move forward. So we move on, but we are still on the topic of Larsa. Big mistake. But now we're talking about the Michael Jordan video where he said he doesn't approve of his son's relationship. So they're talking about the awkwardness around Larsa dating Michael Jordan's son. And it's just bullshit. Like, Julie brings up a good example. She brings up this tennis player that I'm sure has like the same relationship that Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen had. And she says, if I dated their daughter or son, of course, like, my ex would get mad at that. Larsa's saying it's not the same thing. The basketball world is really small to the point where you would date your ex-husband's teammate's son? Really, girl? Gertie tells Larsa that it's okay to admit that it's awkward. And I think that's what annoys everybody, that she's trying to pretend like there's nothing strange about that. Now Larsa's saying, oh, we don't talk about other people's dads and moms. Really? Other people's dads and moms aren't Michael Jordan. Like a sports legend and a billionaire. Andy asked Larsa, does Michael Jordan watch the show? And she said yes. Marcus told her that he does. I think she's lying. Larsa is a pathological liar, much like Phaedra, which is kind of ironic that Larsa didn't do that well on Traitors. Andy then asked Larsa, would she invite the cast to her wedding if it happened? And of course she's skirting around the issue. Like, the only person I think who would get invited is Lisa. So we move on, thank God. And the next question is for Marisol, and when she thought about Julia in the beginning of the season, calling her out as the pot stirrer. So then, for some reason, Adriana gets involved in this argument, and she gets up. She has a letter. She goes to Andy and hands it to her. She's like, there's a cyberbully amongst us. I'm assuming it was Marisol. Everyone is rolling their eyes because they know Adriana gonna be on some BS. Allegedly, Adriana has this information from someone on social media saying that Marisol contacted them to bully her or cyberbully her. Child, next segment. As everyone's rolling their eyes, Adriana then accuses Marisol of saying she wanted her dead. We see the footage of Marisol in her confessional, and it was clearly a joke. I don't even like Marisol like that, but they wasting time dealing with Adriana's foolishness. Not Julia accusing Marisol of hiring a private detective. I mean, when you think about it, Marisol does seem bored enough to do that, as well as be desperate enough to stay on this show. So I will say, y'all, after watching the Married to Medicine reunion, this is kind of less than entertaining. Let's just say that. It just all seems so petty. Like, we're still on the pot stirring topic. And now Julia's being accused of a pot stirrer, which I will say during the end of this past season, she has been doing that. So getting to the end of this topic, Julia and Marisol seem to be in a better place with each other. So we move on to Alexia's reel, and she's just letting us know that Frankie, he's becoming more independent. He took the Uber by himself. Again, I love seeing Alexia as a mom. It makes me like her more. And then we get to like the plot line earlier in the season where she had this party and her husband didn't want to go because he didn't want to be around people that was talking about his stepson, and he was talking about Adriana. And then according to Adriana, she said she saw him in the hallway and she brought up something about their marriage and he confirmed it. So who was telling the truth? So Alexia's explained the conversation she had with her husband about the event she put on and how she had some hesitance about having the ladies in her house. And then Adriana interrupts and says, well, that's the job. That's the job of you. Alexia says, well, it's not the job to be a bitch like you. That quick insult gagged everybody in the room, including Adriana. I think it's hilarious how the cameraman got all the ladies' reactions when she said that. They're going back and forth, but Alexia's still trying to explain her point. She is kind of going on and on to the point where I forgot what point she's trying to make. Alexia then pulls out receipts saying that Adriana went on a podcast and said she made transphobic comments. I mean, girl, you did actually. And then said she was accused of not accepting her apology about Frankie. So they're going back and forth now. I thought they were in a better place with each other by the season finale because they were all there supporting her in the first place. Child, they are still going back and forth. It is mind-numbing. Adriana calls her a star, and Alexia's like, yeah, I am a star. If you believed you were, maybe your life would be better. Nicole then interjects for a bit and lets Alexia know that there's a double standard when it comes to her. Like, she expects no one to talk about her, but she actually does the same thing to the other cast members. And she gives examples. But I think Nicole forgot who she's talking to because Alexia doesn't know what accountability means. So now we get on Alexia defending her finances. She has a portfolio out, like of checks that she paid for her rent. Girl, put that away. As Alexia is still talking, Lisa says she really has to pee, so she just gets up from the couch. And then Nicole, I mean, she's pregnant. Of course, she has to pee every hour on the hour, so she just gets up too. This shit is just wacky. So after they all take a small break, they're back on stage. Alexia forgot what she was talking about, but then Adriana has something to say. She gets up with the letter she wants to read. She has a poem. Fast fucking forward. So Adriana finally sit her ass down, but she's still going back and forth with Alexia, talking about Star or some shit. Larsa inserts herself and says she don't like it when Alexia says she's the only one that doesn't lie, I want to say. I don't know. We got from stars to liars. Alexia says, yeah, I'm the only one who doesn't lie. With Gertie right next to her saying, I don't lie. And Larsa's asking Alexia, oh, when did I lie? When did I lie? Alexia then brings up, what she told Gertie that she wouldn't tell anybody about her diagnosis. And right on the money. But I do disagree with the statement that Alexia is the only one that tells the truth, because that is not the truth. So Lisa and Larsa are not going back and forth, and that's basically two walls arguing with each other. Neither are going to back down. It's not stopping. Poor Andy can't stop it. And then we see Kiki and Julia, they're just kissing each other, thinking maybe it'll stop if we just keep kissing. Everything calms down for a bit, but Gertie then starts it right back up. She's like, well, everyone's calling Julia and Marisol the biggest pot stirrers when there's the biggest pot stirrer here, and that's Larsa. Like, Gertie is not getting her foot off of Larsa's neck. So Gertie and Lisa put Alexia on the spot for what Larsa said to her. I think this was 2 seasons ago. Or was it? What was it, 1 season ago? I don't know. It was when Alexia had her wedding on the boat and Larsa and Lisa were getting into it. Allegedly, she told Alexia, if you say something, I'm going to say something to the press about people doing drugs or something like that. And Alexia confirms this story, but Larsa definitely has a problem with it because it's probably true. Apparently, Larsa was leveling the threat of drug use. Lisa's saying, well, it's Miami. Doesn't everyone do drugs? Larsa is denying. Ooh, child, they have a lot of behind the scenes on this reunion, so now we see them taking a lunch break. I feel like this is the 3rd break in part 1. Jesus. So now we're backstage with some of the wives. Larsa's talking to Lisa, like how she didn't appreciate what Alexia said. We then see Gertie talking to Kiki. She's just patting herself on the back that she exposed Larsa. So then we see Alexia going into Larsa's dressing room. I'm just like, why? Didn't they just get into it? And they're just acting like everything's okay. And here we go. Larsa's like, I just have something to get off my chest, because at the end of the day, we're friends. I just feel like when you told that story never came from me. Alexia is calmly reminding Larsa how the events took place. And now, they're cordially going back and forth, and it looks like they're going to get louder and louder. The credits are rolling, and then we get to who lying again. Larsa's like, you lie. And like I said, these are 2 walls arguing with each other. No one is going to back down. Yep, they're getting louder and louder. And then we cut to Andy on his phone, recording himself, and you can hear them arguing in the background. And that is where part 1 of the reunion ends. That was very chaotic, super chaotic. Like, I just finished watching Potomac. Then I watched the Married to Medicine part 1 reunion. And now this is just completely different vibes, really. I would say if I had to rate part 1, I would give it a 7 out of 10. But yeah, let's get into part 2. So we open the episode. These chicks are still arguing. We can see the other wives just chilling, eating, and all you can hear is just yelling in the hallway. Oh my God. It won't stop. It won't stop. Like, Lisa's just there watching. Michael Jordan's son is just sitting there watching. No one is breaking this up. Alexia brings up that Larsa and Lisa were just fighting at her wedding. That's all y'all did. And then Larsa tries to one-up her. Well, you were celebrating your birthday at my charity event, flaunting your wealth. Alexia's like, are you crazy? It was my birthday. Like, I volunteered to be a part of your charity event. You shouldn't even had something on my birthday. This is mind-numbing, y'all. They've been arguing so long, it's time for them to go back on set. And then we see Gertie walk in the hallway. Just the sound of Larsa's voice gets under her skin as she's mocking Larsa. They love showing a lot of behind-the-scenes footage. Like, we still haven't gone back on the stage yet. I think producers just know, like, them just talking is gold. Like, they're discussing dildo ads right now. So they finally begin, and Lisa's a topic of conversation. Andy is asking for an update on her divorce, and she says it's gotten worse. When will it end with her? But she said they still calling the police on each other. He called the police on her mom or something. Like, he had his girlfriend there. She's walking around in lingerie. Her mom took a picture, sent it to her, and then she texts him asking what is he doing, and then he called the cops. But then she said she finally moved out. Andy says, oh, so you're staying in a $32,000 a month apartment. Right, like she's doing real bad right now. Okay, poor Lisa. We found out that he's still building a house for her, even though it's going to take some time. He's still fighting her on it. And also, the house is not going to be in her name. It's going to be in her kid's name. Apparently, her and Jody can live in the house together whenever it's built, but if she gets remarried, she can't stay in the house. This is what happens when you're married for money. Side note, so far, it doesn't even feel like I'm watching uncensored. They're not really cursing that much. I'm just hearing fuck and shit, you know, here and there. It just doesn't feel like I'm watching an uncensored episode. So then they're talking about the Palm Beach trip where they're at the dinner and they were all coming at Lisa, asking her questions about her finances and her divorce. And it really did feel like an ambush. But Alexia brings up that it was coming from a place of love, but you got so defensive. And Gertie was just trying to say, yeah, you were being defensive, but you were getting all wrapped up. Lisa's like getting very emotional. She's like, yes, I'm getting wrapped up. I'm fighting the battle for my life. Lisa, she doesn't understand that she just said this to a cancer survivor who actually was fighting for her life. Like, she wasn't fighting for money. Gertie doesn't even say anything to it. It was Alexia and Kiki standing up for Gertie, saying, really, girl? You telling this to Gertie, who's actually like fighting like for her life? Lisa, being the narcissist that she is, she doesn't give a fuck. She doesn't back down. She tells them, don't diminish what I was fighting for. Lisa tells them that they were talking about finances. I'm talking about fighting for my kids. And then Gertie says, yeah, but they're healthy and alive. And then Lisa looked like she's about to have a nervous breakdown. Andy has to interject and say it is not a competition. Lisa's having a temper tantrum right now. Look like she's hyperventilating. Nicole, again, being the voice of reason she is trying to tell Lisa how she comes off. Like, it's not just about you. You seem like you don't care about anybody else, like what's going on with them. Like, it's just not all about you. Like, we understand that you're going through something, but you still have to look outside of yourself because other people are going through things too. Andy puts a pin in this argument, thankfully, and then he wishes Lisa well on landing this plane because it seemed like it's going to crash either way. So now we get to the infamous Mother's Day brunch where this housewife Anna was invited and Marisol and Alexa just went ballistic. We found out that Marisol was the most offended by it. She calls it cruel and calculating because Adriana knows that her mom died on Mother's Day. Adriana's response was, well, it wasn't technically Mother's Day. So now they're going back and forth. Marisol is mad now. She was just like, well, it's Mother's Day brunch. It signifies Mother's Day. It doesn't matter. Alexia and Marisol again are tag teaming on Adriana, and she keeps saying it wasn't on Mother's Day. It wasn't the actual day. Andy's now getting pissed off. He tells Adriana, we heard you the first 8 times. Side note, I'm just glad we're not talking about Larsa. She's been quiet for the past 15 minutes. I love it. I like Nicole. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I don't think she was trying to be malicious. Adriana, she was trying to be malicious. And initially, it was Adriana's idea to do it. Alexia continues to say that Nicole knew something about it. She knew that Anna had a problem with them. I truly don't think she had an ulterior motive because she was getting along with them at the time. Now it's Nicole versus Alexia. Nicole's saying Alexia never liked her. And it's probably because Alexia is just jealous of her. Like, Nicole is rich, beautiful, educated, and self-sufficient. Like, Alexia isn't any of those things. Okay, Nicole, she says Alexia has a hard-on for her. You need to go to the bathroom, let it out, rub one out, and come back. Ooh, so Nicole got the tea and the receipts. So she says after the Mother's Day brunch, because they didn't invite her to the next event, like Marisol was like kikiing with her afterward. They went out for drinks. Nicole took the heat for what I did. She gets up again. This is the 3rd time. I was like, if she about to read something, I'm about to just like stop the reunion right here. But then she gets up and takes a rose out of a plastic case and gives it to Nicole. So Adriana apologizes to Alexia, and then Marisol's like, where's my apology? And then she just said, you know what? I don't want your apology because you're so full of shit. Well, all right. So now they're talking about the conflict that Lisa and Julia had. It started at Julia's party for Martina when Lisa came the same night where she had to call the police and her kids were still at home. And Julia was saying, oh, so you called the police and like you left your kids at home, you're here? And it did kind of seem like she was implying like, girl, why are you here and not with your kids? It came off that way. So then fast forward to the Mother's Day brunch. And then Lisa was trying to get back at Julia by saying, like, you're trying to judge my parents and, like, you have 3 baby daddies. Julia seems more offended by what Lisa said, and they're arguing about that. She said she didn't even realize what she said until after the fact. And Lisa was like, there's an open communication. We've had dinners together, but you posted this on social media when you found out what I was talking about instead of just calling me. Lisa then brings up that you started this first, and she just wants her to apologize to her for that implication. And Andy asked Julia, are you willing to apologize to her? You see how it hurt her? Like, do you want to apologize to her? It is dead silence, and then Julia said, I'm not sorry at this moment because I knew what my intentions were, and they weren't to hurt her. Damn. I mean, look, if you don't mean the apology, you don't mean the apology. Lisa is gagged, and then Andy wants to move on, but hopes to come back to it to hope there's some type of resolution between the two of them. So they move on. The next question is for Nicole, and is she going to walk down the aisle anytime soon? She's like, no, they'll focus on this baby. Look, marriage just makes things worse, in my opinion, allegedly. They then acknowledged Nicole's dad passing. She said it was very unexpected and it actually happened right after BravoCon, and she was still in Vegas. But she's happy that she was able to tell him that she was pregnant. So then we segue into Nicole's reel. That's mostly about her family. So then they're talking about the aftermath of her dad passing. She had a lot of nice things to say about the girlfriend, but then they ask her, well, where's the girlfriend now? And we find out that, you know, that was her sugar daddy. He was paying for the apartment and her car. And then they had an uncomfortable conversation. They had to cut off the money pot from her. Like he didn't have a will or anything. So she was stuck ass out. And the people that's trying to claim his estate is his 2 older children. I mean, Nicole, I'm sure she don't care. Side note, I actually like this Nicole segment. It's a little break from the chaos. So then Nicole is asked about her fiance. I guess it wouldn't be boyfriend, and it's not husband yet, but just the fact that he's going to be a girl dad. And then the attention is on Andy because, you know, he's a girl dad, and they start asking him personal questions like, does he want a partner? And then they're trying to say like who they could see him with, like a European, Cuban, like they're saying everybody but black, and that's his type. Chocolate, dark chocolate. Child, after this, they are on their 4th or 5th break in 2 parts of a reunion. I've never seen this before. Y'all, we are backstage again, seeing the housewives talk to each other, and everyone's talking about how Julia just didn't want to apologize to Lisa. So then we see Julia stopping in Lisa's dressing room, and it looks like they're going to have a heart-to-heart, and Julia's going to apologize right here, instead of on stage where it should be. So Julia finally says sorry. She says she didn't want to say it in front of Andy and the other lady. She wanted to just be them 2. Anywho, I mean, they're good now. We can move on. It's getting late. It's getting late. And I want to be done with this by midnight. So ladies are back on stage, and the topic of conversation is Gertie's cancer battle. I tell y'all, most of Gertie's parts had me boo-hooing, like on my first viewing. I was like, I am not gonna cry on camera. I mean, when she was talking to her kids about it, when she was getting her hair shaven, and then when she beat it at the end of the season. So Gertie's just being really in-depth with Andy about her battle. She said that it's still not over for her. She still has to get checked, I think, every 6 months. She's probably showing her scar from her surgery. I'm just happy she got through it, and hopefully the cancer stays gone. Oh, Lord, so here we go. This is Larsa versus Gertie. When it started out, when Gertie told her that she had cancer, she's like, what? Are you sure? Oh, that part made me so mad. And that's the first question for Larsa. Like, why was that her first response? Of course, she has an excuse for it. She said she was arguing with Gertie for like 30 minutes, and then she just sprung that on her. Gertie said she couldn't believe her ears when she heard Larsa say that. She could have said anything else. And she was like, are you for real? I have fucking cancer. Damn, we're watching the reel, and before the reel even finished, they started arguing. Now, according to Gertie, she says Larsa didn't apologize. Or maybe she just felt like Larsa's apology wasn't genuine. And she's still going with that bullshit excuse. I just wanted to rally around her. That's why I told my best friends. Really? And the bullshit excuses keep coming. She's saying that the reason why she told her friends and the other girls was she thought Gertie told her not social media, or she couldn't remember. Yep, I'm with Gertie. I need full ownership that what you did was wrong and fucked up. Gertie's then getting emotional and saying that Larsa made her journey harder, and Larsa does not want to claim that at all. Gertie's trying to say how Larsa hurt her, and all Larsa has to say is, Gertie, you hurt me too. She's just not getting it. She's a narcissist. Gertie, don't even expect anything from her. The credits are rolling now. Gertie is infuriated, and that is where part 2 ends. Whew. We did it. I got part 1 and 2. I will say I've been enjoying Beverly Hills Reunion better, as well as Married to Medicine. It's just getting a little bit too wacky at times, and yeah, the drama's good. I'm entertained. They were wasting a little bit too much time on frivolous matters, and then they showed them backstage so much, at least 6 or 7 times. I'm like, we saw them an equal amount of times on stage and off stage. But anywho, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all for part 3. Bye.